lowest blocks are at about 1,600 feet, the highest up to 1,900. Henry Cornell is the owner of the property, and along with his wife Vanessa, and they're passionate wine collectors, deep cellar of great wines, but also lovers of California and California wine. And I think Henry fell in love with this property pretty much on site, and it didn't have any vines when he bought it. There's a history of winemaking up here and vineyards a long time ago, pre-prohibition. So he knew it could be done. I don't think he knew how hard it was going to be or how long it was going to take.
You're producing a Cabernet up here, and I find that really interesting because it's kind of, it feels counterintuitive just based on, the history that wine country kind of has. We always think of Cabernet being best grown in areas that are warmer, and it's quite cool up here. What are some of the weather conditions that help the berries thrive?
Well, it's cool in the winter up here, and it's cool, it's definitely cooler than the Napa Valley floor during the summer. But we don't have the morning fog so much that the floor has, for example. So we get the sun earlier and it warms up faster in the morning. And then there's also a certain element of the UV, just being at almost 2,000 feet.
Yes.
You do get more UV, so I think the grapes respond to that. Then there's the aspect, we're mostly south and west facing, so we're on the west side of what in Napa is Spring Mountain, which means we do get some pretty nice warm afternoons up here. We get some pretty crazy rain, crazy wind, and then really the challenge during harvest is just the later bud break. Because of the cold winters and the elevation, the vines just don't wake up as fast as they do down in the valley. Stylistically, we're not looking to push it to the point of shrivel at all. So we do pick a little bit earlier than a lot of other people.
From the standpoint of winemaking and then also tasting the juice, what are things that make Cornell Vineyards wine different from anywhere else?
It all starts with the mountain, for sure. I mean, we're not the only one in the mountains by any stretch, but we are looking to make a wine that's identifiable, recognizable as a mountain wine. But then from there, I think, is where we maybe differentiate ourselves from a lot of other mountain wines, where for us, rustic tannin and just roughness is not really acceptable and not at all part of the style. So we're definitely shooting for an elegance that's almost at odds with the mountain, and I think is part of the fun of what we're doing. Is there's something in a way seemingly impossible about it, but I think that's where, in a big part, that's where Françoise Péchon, our consultant, comes in. And I think she's one of the most famous winemakers in Napa for the elegance of her wines. And so bringing that expertise and the light touch that she has to this inherently burly, big, dark, powerful mountain wine, just that interplay and that paradox is really what I think defines Cornell. That's a combination of being the wines that we like to drink and also really what the property seems to do best. Because part of the history of the vineyard and having all those years kind of to experiment and try different styles, there was a fair amount of experimentation with ripeness and figuring out what this parcel does best, what each block does best, but what this property does best. And hands down, the restraint and the elegance is far more impressive to us.
That's the Cornell brand.
Exactly.